Hello, BookTube. I have a cloudy day mail haul for you here. Thought we'd go through it together. There's some packages. I mentioned, obviously prematurely, a couple of days ago that the publishing industry would start to wind down in terms of what they send and whatnot. That hasn't happened yet, but I don't know about winding down, but it will come to a complete stop in, what is this, the 13th? A week. A week at the outside. In a week, it'll be the 20th. So a week from today is, I don't remember. I haven't put on pants in a while. Thursday. Okay, yeah. So next Thursday will be the 20th of December. No one will be in their offices. No one will be sending anything out. No one will be working. so in the outside a week, publishing industry will close down until the first or second week of January. So this is in doldrums now, but they're coming. Oh, great. Oh, okay. All right, fantastic. This is a YA novel. We're starting off with a YA novel, which I don't hate, as many booktubers have said. Many booktubers have been critical of BookTube's weird, opening obsession with YA. Have said they don't hate YA, they just hate the weird obsession with it. And I'm firmly in that camp. I don't hate. I've loved a lot of YA that I've read. I just can't stand watching, voting, driving, bourbon binging, chain smoking, subscriber betting, fully grown, cynical adults jumping up and down and saying, "Hey guys," like they were 13-year-olds in order to make some publisher money by exclusively enthusing about YA books they don't then read. That, for me, for a long time, that looked like what BookTube was. So, of course, it was easy to scorn that. BookTube doesn't look like that anymore, and even so, the scorn was misplaced because I have loved a lot of YA, and this one looks really good. This is by Natalie Anderson, and it is Let's Go Swimming on Doomsday. Look at that cover. Look at that. Oh, my. So let me see if this strikes you the way it struck me. This is the follow-up to her first novel, City of Saints and Thieves, which I don't think I read. Let's see. When a young Somali boy's family is kidnapped, he's forced to do the unthinkable, become a child soldier with the ruthless jihadi group Al-Shabaab. In order to save the lives of those he loves and earn their freedom, Abdi agrees to be embedded as a spy within the militia's ranks and to send dispatches on their plans to the Americans. How are we doing for cover? I want you to be able to see the cover, but I don't want you to be deprived of seeing me. And Bigfoot. The jihadis trust Abdi immediately because his older brother Dahir is already one of them, protege to General Idris, aka the Butcher. If Abdi's duplicity is discovered, he will be killed. For weeks, he trains with them, witnessing atrocity after atrocity, becoming a monster himself, wondering if he's even pretending anymore. He only escapes after he is forced into a suicide bomber's vest, which still leaves him stumps where his two fingers used to be and his brother near death. Eventually, he finds himself on the streets of Sangui City, Kenya, stealing what he can find to get by, sleeping nights in empty alleyways, wondering what's become of the family that was stolen from him. But everything changes when he's picked up for petty theft, which sets in motion a chain reaction that forces him to reckon with a past he's been trying to forget. Sounds like there's a lot going on in this thing, and that appeals to me very much. This comes out, in mid-January. This is right around the corner, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's the first great YA book that I read this year. That I'm certainly open to that possibility. I will let you know. I will report back. Because one of the things I want to do in 2019, all of you've been unanimous in saying that you want more of it, is follow-up. Where I actually come back and talk about some of the books that I show when I'm opening them and we're talking about them. It's not that any of you accuse me of being the kind of that first generation YA booktuber that I often decried, who would have a gigantic stack of books that they would haul and then you'd never hear from them again. No one's accusing me of not engaging with these books. My reviews of a lot of them will appear anyway, even if I don't do them on this channel. But a lot of you have said that you like it when I follow up, when I make a video talking about some of the best books of the ones that I get in the mail. So I'm gladly going to do more of that in 2019. I'll figure out a way. It still feels a little odd to do, but I'll figure out a way. But I will follow up on Let's Go Swimming on Doomsday. Oh, great. Okay, fantastic. All right, this does not appear to have come with a pub sheet, but I don't know how much of it you'll need. This is Jay Perini, who will be familiar to you. He's a poet, novelist, and biographer who teaches at Middlebury College. His 6 books of poetry include new and collected poems, and he's written 8 novels, including Benjamin's Crossing, The Apprentice Lover, The Passage of H.M., and The Last Station. And this is his new book coming out in April, and it's The Damascus Road, and it's a historical novel explicitly about Saul of Tarsus on his horse in the business of persecuting Christians, who is assaulted by a blinding white light on the road to Damascus, thrown from his horse, blinded, and it is, according to him, God saying, "Why do you persecute me?" And after that, he takes the name of Paul and becomes St. Paul, the founder of Christianity. And this is Perini's historical novel about that. So this is a major literary talent getting on the bandwagon that I've been talking about of 2019, where these historical, or in biblical cases, quasi-historical, it'll still be set in, first century Judea. So there won't be any airplanes. So this will be essentially a historical novel, although we can't be sure how many people comprised the person we now think of as St. Paul. And of course, there was no blinding light on the road to Damascus. The story makes no sense at all. It's supposed to underscore the drama, the conversion drama of a persecutor of Christians suddenly being converted by a personal encounter with the risen Jesus, with Jesus as God. And of course, the story leaves completely open and unanswered and unanswerable the question of, well, okay, then why not do that to everybody? Why only do it to St. Paul? There is no answer to that except Christian fancy dancing. So the story of the encounter on the Damascus Road, you often hear that as it's one of the many biblical bits that has come into common usage and conversation, where I had my Damascus moment. People always say that and that's what it means, your come to Jesus moment. And that story is great, but that story did not happen. There may have been a Saul of Tarsus, but anyway, there'll be enough of this that's historical for this to count as a historical novel. I think this is just a straight-up historical novel about St. Paul. I've read a couple of those over the last 5 or 6 years. They tend to be bad. So we'll see. J. Perini does not tend to be bad. In the years after Christ's crucifixion, Paul of Tarsus, a prosperous tent maker and Jewish scholar, took it upon himself to persecute the small group of his followers that had sprung up. But on the road to Damascus, he had some sort of blinding vision, a profound conversion experience that transformed Paul into the most effective and influential messenger Christianity has ever had. In the Damascus Road, novelist J. Perini brings this fascinating and ever-controversial figure to full human life, capturing his visionary passions and vast contradictions. In relating Paul's epic journeys, both geographical and spiritual, he unfolds a vivid panorama of the ancient world on the verge of epical change. See, that will be the historical part. And in the alternating voice of the gospel writer Luke, Paul's travel companion, scribe, and ghostwriter, a cooler perspective on his actions and beliefs emerges. Ironic, but still filled with wonder at Paul's unshakable commitment to Christ and his divinity. And it's small wonder that Paul had an unshakable devotion to Christ and his divinity, since Paul, despite what Christian scholars forever imply, never met Jesus. He met a blinding white light on the road to Damascus. He's never met a man. The founder of Christianity had no personal knowledge of anyone named Jesus, and certainly didn't walk around Judea in sandals watching miracles happen. Nothing of the kind. It's a second-hand founding. But I wonder how knowing it will be. That description made it sound fairly parochial in both the good and the bad sense. So we shall see. I can't wait. I will report back. Although this thing's going to get reviewed everywhere, so you're not going to need me to get feedback on it. But I'm sensitive to the fact now that we've been together so long that a lot of you might want my feedback, and I'm perfectly happy to give it. So what is this next? Oh, great. I requested this. This also comes out in April. Several of you have been commenting that April looks like another tsunami month. I think you're entirely right. It looks like there's just going to be hundreds of books, like October was this year. And this is by Anna Merlin, and it is Republic of Lies. All about conspiratorial thinking. This is a wild look through modern conspiracy theories and their current hold on the American psyche. Since the election of Donald Trump and the rise of oddball internet ideas such as Pizzagate and QAnon, several books and articles have examined the rise of conspiratorial thinking in American life. Rather than a voyeuristic tour, though, veteran journalist Anna Merlin seeks to understand the lives and motivations of the people entrapped by these theories. Anna's book is more than a guide to the crazy things crazy people think. It's an exploration of the very real problems Americans are facing and the desperate ways we seek to understand them. Okay. Great. So what are they? What are the I mean, there's Pizzagate and QAnon. These things seem so thin that I never understand how they have any traction at all. But there'll be birtherism, I'm sure. Okay. The pub sheet doesn't really mention them. False flags, useful murders, medical oddities, white nationalism. It doesn't explicitly name them, but this is right up my alley. This is the sort of thing I find fascinating. So we'll get to that in April. This mail haul does end in a box. It's not a very big box, but it's a box. So first, before we get to that, we have these big cardboard things. Let's see what this next one is. Oh, fantastic. All right, this is early January. We've seen this already. This is the finished copy of Lucy Worsley's book on Queen Victoria. I don't know if you can make it out there, but they changed the subtitle. The subtitle is now 24 Hours That Changed Her Life. The original subtitle was, what was it? Mother, daughter, grandmother, wife. The original subtitle listed a bunch of her roles in life, pointedly leaving out Queen. And this one doesn't. I don't know what the thinking was behind that, although I kind of like it. Let's see here. Perhaps one of the best known of England's monarchs, Queen Victoria forever shaped a chapter of English history. Lucy Worsley introduces this iconic woman in a new light, going beyond an exploration of the Queen merely as monarch. What I wouldn't give if all of the biographies just dealt with her as a monarch. Virtually none of them do. Worsley considers Victoria as a woman leading a truly extraordinary life in a unique time period. The book is structured around the various roles that Victoria inhabited: a daughter raised to wield power, a loving but tempestuous wife, a controlling mother, and a cunning widow, all while wearing the royal crown. So there in the pub sheet you can see what the subtitle used to be. You can see that this was once going to be that kind of a study. They changed the subtitle just a bit. But one way or another, Lucy Worsley does some very interesting stuff. She's a very interesting writer. And this will be probably the major Victoria book of 2019. Again, it will get reviewed everywhere. My prediction is that it will get reviewed everywhere. So I will certainly be in on that conversation. Glad to have the finished copy. Well, let's see here. Let's move on to this next one. This is the last one, and then we have the box. I'm going to have to see if I still have the advanced copy of this thing with the original subtitle. It might be fun to put an Instagram post of them together. Those of you who don't know, I have an active Instagram channel, Steve's Bookstagram. I'll leave a link to it down below. We have a lot of fun over there. You should sign up if you haven't already. So what is this next one? Okay, didn't request this. This also comes out in April. Oh my god. Ooh. This is very pretty. It's by H.S. Cross, and it's called Grievous. Why do I know H.S. Cross? Okay. H.S. Cross wrote the British boys boarding school novel Wilberforce, which was terrific. One of those books that really grew on me the longer I thought about it. I bet I don't have a copy anymore. St. Stephen's Academy, Yorkshire, 1931. A society unto itself, populated by boys reveling in life's first big mistakes and men still learning how to live with the consequences of their own. 14-year-old Gray Riding, bookish and yearning for approval, has his life altered by the arrival at the academy of Cordelia Leo, a vivacious granddaughter of his housemaster John Greaves, nicknamed Grievous. Grievous, too, is at a crossroads, forced to grapple with history both collective and personal, as he manages difficult students, a precocious goddaughter, and the infinitely more difficult task of rescuing Cordelia's mother, a woman he secretly loves, from poor health and worse decisions. Told from a variety of viewpoints, Grievous takes us deep inside the crucible of St. Stephen's while retaining a clear-eyed, contemporary sensibility, drawing out secrets hidden beneath the school's strict, unsparing surface. The first book was really good. I'm going to have to see if maybe they can send me a copy. One of the bullet points in the pub sheet says you do not need to read Wilberforce to get the full story in Grievous, and I believe that. This author clearly pays attention to what's going on, and not all of them do. She writes a very atmospheric scene. the one of the things that kept Wilberforce coming back in my mind over and over again was that some of the scenes are so atmospheric they just don't let you go. I'd be willing to bet Grievous will be the same way. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, the first thing I need to do is get a copy of Grievous, either at the Brattle or at the library or from the publisher. Or not Grievous, but Wilberforce. But this comes out in April, and in the meantime, before I get to it, I can recommend Wilberforce to all of you, if it's your cup of tea. If you like that, British boarding school novel, a lot of people do. It's a weirdly vital little subgenre of fiction. Then it's one not to miss. It's one of the most convincing modern examples of that kind of writing that I can imagine anybody doing. And this continues the story. We get to know this character in the first book, and now we're going to get to know him a lot better. Okay, great. Wow. All right. And then we have the box, the finished box, and this is, I think, from a publisher. We've ended so many book hauls lately with a box that ends up being a gift from one of you to me for the holidays. I'm hoping that this is, perversely, I'm hoping that this is from a publisher, because these gifts, I don't know what to make of them. You're all so nice. It's not usual. Usually at this time of year, I'm the one sending things to people. So let's see what this is. Okay. No paperwork of any kind. Okay. All right, now I'm curious. What do we have here? Pacific Bookworths, Laguna Beach, California. I've spent a lot of time in Laguna Beach, California. Pacific Bookworths, but no documents. Okay. That's odd. All right. Well, I'm assuming these are self-published books then. So the first one is an illustrated children's book, Tag Along Caitlin, by Katie Lang Slattery. Caitlin loves summer camp. So this is going to be very early. This is grade school. She has spent every summer she can remember at camp with her mom, who is a counselor. This summer, Caitlin wants to join the difficult 3-day hike with the older girls, but Caitlin's mom says she's not old enough yet. She's determined to change her mom's mind and prove she is strong enough for the hike. Will she be allowed to go on the overnight hike? And if so, will she be able to do the full 3 days? Okay, so Tag Along Caitlin. Great. It says ages 6 to 9, and the illustrations are by Ron Whitaker. I don't have any paperwork to know when it comes out, but that's all right. The other one is also by a K. Lang Slattery. I'm assuming the same person, only writing for adults. This is looks like a historical novel, considerably more ambitious. What have we got here? This is Immigrant Soldier, the story of a Ritchie boy. And this is, you see, this one is Katie Lang Slattery. This is K. Lang Slattery. Again, no paperwork here. What have we got? Herman watches in horror as his cousin and friends are arrested by the SA in 1938 in Germany. As a Jew, he realizes it's past time to flee his homeland, a decision that catapults him from one adventure to another, his life changed forever by the maelstrom of world events. Part coming-of-age story, part immigrant tale, part World War II adventure, Immigrant Soldier follows Herman as he evolves from a frightened and frustrated teenager looking for a place to belong into a confident and caring U.S. Army intelligence officer serving in the Third Army. The reader is swept along as the hero experiences fear, romance, loyalty, disappointment, friendship, horror, and compassion in his quest for an understanding of hate and forgiveness. You're going to think I'm crazy, but that sounds familiar. That sounds familiar to me. I believe I've already read this book. Let's see how it starts. See if that jogs the old memory. The quiet of the early November morning was shattered by loud voices and the screech of brakes. Herman peered through the crack in the stable door. A prickle of fear shot up his neck at the sight of a covered truck, 2 police motorcycles, and a black sedan in front of the homes across the street. 2 brown-shirted SA officers, the swastika symbols on their armbands blazing, pounded on his cousin's front door. I have read this before. So, did I read it for Kirkus? Or the Historical Novel Review Society? Well, let's see when it was. This was 2016. Okay, I read this already. I don't know exactly what why I'm getting it now, but if I remember correctly, it was effectively done. Good, solid work. I'll have to examine it a little and see what it is and why I got it. I wish there were an accompanying note. I mean, I can understand if it was sent from Amazon directly, then you wouldn't have an accompanying note. But this, it looks like it was sent from a person. So it should have a note addressed to me instead of just lobbing in through the window wrapped around a rock. I feel certain that I have already read this. Well, anyway, that's interesting. At least it's not a gift. It's not fudge. So, all right. So that does it for our mail haul for today. So we have the new Queen Victoria biography by Lucy Wormsley. Worth reading. Can't wait to get to it. I have so far not got to the advanced copy with the different subtitle. Then Republic of Lies, a new April study about America's sudden love affair with conspiracy theories and the corrosive danger that is. And it's one thing if it's a fun hobby like mine, but if people are starting to believe these things and vote on them and sometimes mob people because of them, then that's much more important. Can't wait to read what this author has to say on it. Then The Damascus Road by J. Perini, a very pretty, straight-up historical novel about St. Paul. I can't remember the last time I read one of those, and it's an evergreen subject. Then Grievous by the author of Wilberforce. I wonder if all the books are going to be named after characters. That would be fun. You're gradually losing sight of both me and Bigfoot. Then Let's Go Swimming on Doomsday, a YA novel about a child soldier. Good stuff. And then two self-published works, Immigrant Soldier and Tag Along Caitlin. So a straight-up historical novel and a kid's book for grades 6 through 9. So that is our mail. That is our mail today on this overcast day. I'm gonna sort all these things and deal with them, and also see what's got the bean all wound up. But I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.